Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Texas Danny coming to you from the 10th of July, 2023 on a Monday, about 5 a.m. in the morning here, roughly, going towards that. I'd like to just kind of point out a few things real quick on the Earth and her changes that are going on right now. Again, we have everywhere on Earth as active as being very dynamic and fluid in her movements with the quantum changes taking place at quantum speeds. We have the Gulf of California still widening up and still opening up, and we have the degeneration of the Mexican West Coast, the evaporation or the eradication of the Mexican West Coast is going. From Durango, Colorado to Durango, Mexico, we've got drops in elevation, and we have Mexico swinging further east with a lot of mechanization and control coming about 125 miles west of Monterrey. Mexico is narrowing out. We have a declination towards Mexico City, and we have the Yucatan closing off really the Gulf of Mexico. You see this light blue outline here, a shallow indicator of the water. The Yucatan Basin in my timeline was roughly that size, and here to the south of Mexico City, to the south. This is why we're going to probably have a lot more of a weather effect. The Gulf of Mexico is just so much smaller now. The Gulf of Mexico is so much smaller, and we have all this activities that's taking place. Especially, I'd like to mention for the moment, is the Gulf of California is continuously going on with widening. We have the eradication of the Mexican West Coast. We have changes to the entire American Southwest, northern Mexico, Sonora Desert, Chihuahua, and then we have the distinct effects. We've got all the quantum affected up in California right now, which are doing their thing, working their thing. But I'd like you guys to know that, okay, we got Mexicali is quantum, and so is Calexico, and this area that's south of the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea was roughly in this area in my timeline, but a little further out. And these areas that are around, if you see to the east of the irrigation farming areas, has moved. And you've got all the changes that are going out to San Diego. Los Angeles is further south than where it was for me. Plus, it's missing the San Gabriel Basin. Now, where the Edwards Air Force Base is kind of like a plateau or something like that, wedge plateau. And I used to have a San Gabriel Basin around my Los Angeles, and it's not there anymore. And of course, the valley's not as big, but we have declination issues right here. If you can see where the pin is with Nevada, we got declination areas. We got that going down, and that is moving into the geography here and into the desert. And it's also affecting going towards Southern California and Southern Arizona. And you have Phoenix and Tucson are just going to be going into the effects of a North American continent further going east in quantum fashions with the northern Mexico. So we have areas like the cities are still getting larger in relative size and scope with the states because our areas are shrinking. The Earth is shrinking. There's been a correction on the Four Corners area. The Four Corners for a while had the south east part of Utah veering off about 0.7 of a mile before aligning. And on the map, that's been corrected now to where it's overlaying the site that's there, the Four Corners tourist site that's down there. Let me see if I can't move that up. I might be able to get that where you can see it. I don't know. Here it is. See the faint square on target match? It used to be up here about 7/10 of a mile where there was a deviation on the line in southeast Utah, and that's corrected. Okay, let me go back out to the main part of the earth here. I know it's not a very good picture right now, not very clear, but we are still moving east. The North American continent is still moving east. A lot of particular effects to the subterranean, subaquatic, and geographical features are changing, and we have a lot of energy lines and stuff like that going right through the Great Lakes. It's going right up through Minnesota, right through Wisconsin, and into Michigan. Again, the Gulf of California is getting smaller, and we have changes continuously still to Manhattan. Manhattan is still changing. It's still got changes going on in the island of Manhattan, and we have more moisture going into Brooklyn and that kind of thing. We have the United States in transformations, Canada in transformations, Mexico, all the entire North American continent. Greenland has still got a lot of things going on. But what I want to point out just real quickly, and I can go anywhere on Earth right now and talk in detail about things that are going on, but let me see if I can get a decent picture for you here. In my timeline, in my situation with Earth, what is the Strait of Gibraltar was the Straits of Gibraltar, and it was over 50 miles wide in this area. It's now under 10, and I've watched it get smaller and smaller and smaller. And as I'm seeing Tunisia coming up to meet Corsica, Sardinia, and Sicily, we have a narrowing gap here in the Western Mediterranean. We have closure coming in, a lot of closure coming into the Western Mediterranean. Besides that, we have the Geneva wave, which is essentially the Swiss Alps, and the moisture that is there that is affecting things and changing things as it's going to the subterranean, and it's going to be feeding in as we have the border of Austria has gone from running more or less a west to east and has tilted down, okay? That's the closing of the ground and stuff like that, the closing of the areas as they're getting smaller. Liechtenstein, the Geneva wave, the water, everything coming off Geneva, this is going to be an influencing tool or element to change the necessary state of things to further increase as well. And they're going to do that along with Italy, and especially northern Italy. But it's going to go down here, and it's working its way down the Balkans and into Bosnia-Herzegovina, Albania, Kosovo, Greece, the Aegean, because we have, right now, we have the Aegean changing quite a bit. Let me move that out. And Turkey is moving quite a bit. Let me show you. Turkey used to be a country that was more or less ran west to east, okay? As we've gotten, let me show you as this goes down, as we've gotten smaller and smaller, and the radius of the scope has changed, Turkey has gone down and tilted to her southwest, okay? And this has affected her landscapes. This has affected her lands. And these changes specifically have come out as Adana is a quantum area. Adana is a quantum area that has come into being in the last few years, say since about 2017, 2018, it started to develop. And this has gotten thicker and thicker in here. And more of an effect has come out and into Turkey, headed into southern Turkey, and headed into Syria. Syria is beginning to split seriously. Her increased river areas, waterbed areas, and stuff like that. And the far eastern part of the Mediterranean, Israel, Lebanon, Jordan, Area 42, Cairo. And let me show you specifically here. On either side of the Red Sea, we have had distinct geographic changes right through here as this has grown out and spread out and causing these splits to increase as things are changing. We have a split opening and coming up as the declination continues, and it's going towards Basra and into Iraq and into the Persian Gulf. Okay? This is going to set a scenario where the residents who see the world on a daily basis, who see the world day to day as it's always been that way, are not going to know that it's been supernaturally or super technologically changed to be different, and that the Western Mediterranean is going to get closed. I don't know if it will completely close in or become more and more narrow, but we have these issues with the Aegean coming out, and we have Turkey moving, and these are at quantum speeds. These are happening at quantum speeds. I think we see these things, or some of us do, because of our thought patterns, our consciousness is on a wavelength, is riding the wave, the quantum wave. The residents who are here, they're in their proper space-time location, and they see everything as a daily event. They don't see the updates. They don't see the changes. As far as they're concerned, it's always been this way. And we have see the effects have come all the way through Saudi, past the capital now. And we've had very quick effects into Iran, Afghanistan, going in to the Central Asia and all the stands in there, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. All this affected areas are going to be causing the further split in Eurasia. As these splits are going to keep on going, the water is going to keep on going up into Mongolia. We have Lake Bakil active, and we have splits that are going to be going right along Russia and China. And we're going to have these issues with the northern part of Russia, all of Central Asia, as we're going to have quantum speed changes on the Earth, okay? And the residents, again, are going to be seeing the world in a daily mode, day to day. They're not going to be seeing the changes as we have been seeing them in a constant way. Watching the Baltic get smaller, closing up. Finland, Sweden, Norway, got southern Sweden, and some changes. It's important, very, very important to keep watch on Copenhagen, okay? And Denmark. Denmark's gotten smaller especially on our west side. Europe has gotten smaller all the way around. The Earth, of course, is. And I'm seeing between Area 42, the Giza area, out to Nigeria, I'm seeing the Chad Rift opening, and I'm seeing the Sahara in very ultra-fast movements changing. Now, I don't know how the Sahara is going to react, which has changed tremendously. This used to be just one huge molten desert in my timeline. Very little was in there. It was just too hostile. But East Africa is opening up. East African Rift is opening up. Again, that goes up to Saudi. That goes all the way from Turkey, eastern Turkey. The Black Sea is changing. The Caspian Sea is changing. Northern Turkey is changing. Iran and Afghanistan are changing. Of course, Central Asia. And we're undoubtedly going to have some changes to India. Bears watching East India, along with the rooftop of the world, Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet. these areas are blending in over and merging with China, okay, and the Southeast Asia. Of course, we're going to have some dramatic changes to the most populated area on Earth, okay? And that is going to be having the residents looking at things in a daily way as they are updated as to the information, and they don't realize that issues have shown up that they think are long-standing, are instantaneous, and are coming up suddenly through the quantum fashion, the changes that are taking place that way. We have Australia coming up with Indonesia, the Banda Sea, the changes that are going on there, the rotation that is in this area here at the Philippine Sea, and of course you've got the very, very deepest part, the Marianas Trench is focusing out. You've got the Sea of Japan. You've got Japan is in line for some tremendous changes. I'm sorry about the focus there. Japan is in line for tremendous changes, and New Zealand needs to watch as she's rolling out because she's splitting apart. She's had some changes before with her northern island up towards Auckland. That used to be a straight north and south situation. Then it veered off to the northwest. Okay, now everybody will be seeing this as saying, well, this has always been this way. All these pictures, all these photos will update to the reality that they're shown at the time. People will not see the path of the travels of the quantum movements of the Earth. They're just not able, because we're basically possibly deceased, or we've been transmuted, or our quantum jumped from our space-time locations to here. I think this is why that we can observe the areas changing. God only knows as that goes. But I'm very interested in the southern Pacific, past French Polynesia and before Chile. This huge area down there, a lot of subaquatic activity down there, a lot of subaquatic activity. We have, again, things that are going on with the Amazon and that continent. We are getting smaller, we are closing, and the residents are getting instantaneous updates that is the permanent reality, or it's always been that way when it's been in quantum transformations and changes. Sorry for kind of being a marble mouth tonight. You know, some Americans talk that way. A little bit tired late in the morning. We, again, Gulf of California is closing. That's going to affect the weather. We have the Gulf of Mexico tract, the Honduras tract, and the Barbados tract. As these move out and they roll up, we, of course, got the tremendous Western Pacific activity. I should also note, those of us who remember and knew that South America was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles further west and directly under North America. And of course, the position and the size of both continents, North America and South America, were different. We have this being worked on a constant basis. This is what's going up in both into your water and up into the atmosphere, right? That's going to be causing a lot of changes. And I would like you all, if you would, to look at the composition of the northern part of the Earth, which used to be for us, some of us, covered by what we called Arctica. Arctica, an ice-capped part of the Earth, a very large ice cap. That and Antarctica, which was much bigger and very ice-capped. These are molding into each other, and the shapes are beginning to align, and we have the potential eventually for a super drop, a very, very super quick drop in size as the program gets moved along and the mechanizations are in place for the transformations to occur very suddenly. This will cause all the atmosphere to become super, super cold, super icy, and come to the surface and fuse the surface into a solid, possibly. possibly. Again, these things are something that I just am seeing. This is just a casual briefing. I know it's not very good tonight, but just something to let you, because I haven't done anything for a good while. We are still moving. We are still closing. And I'm pretty convinced that we have the situation that's coming up with the Mediterranean, as the Western Mediterranean looks like it's going to continue to narrow and close, and the transformations are coming to the Eastern Mediterranean, the Black Sea, and the Caspian, and Central Asia. Okay, Texas Danny out. Thanks for listening. Bye.